It is Tuesday, 13th day of May 2025. Welcome to the Lord Aboga TV newspaper review. Straight away we start by the Standard, whereby the main headline reads, repressive regime, that is in connection to President William Samoei Ruto's administration. Now, this is what the Standard writes. In its latest review, the UN has delivered a scathing rebuke to President Ruto's administration over its use of retrogressive tactics, including extrajudicial killings, abductions, enforced disappearance, and curbs on civic space and constitutionally guaranteed freedoms. While previous governments under Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta faced criticism, the current regime stands accused of flying the flag of outright abuse. That is as per the Standard. From here we see the brief reports that 1,146 Kenyans abused by security organs during the June 2024 Gen Z protests. That is as per KNCHR. Then we have 60 protesters killed during last year's anti-finance bill protests. That is a very big and saddening number. Then we have 66 protesters abducted during last year's anti-finance bill protests. Then we have 32 protesters who disappeared during the anti-finance bill protests. That is a very big number that can just disappear into thin air like that. President William Samoei Ruto was asked a question by a representative of a Finland media station that how is he working on combating abductions and abuse to human rights. President William Samoei Ruto broadly said that anyone who was abducted has reunited with the family.
Hello, I'm Eva Eronen from YLA Finnish Broadcasting Company. According to rights groups, dozens of people were killed during last year's protest, and also there have been enforced disappearances and many are still missing. Your Excellency, President William Ruto, what is the Kenyan government doing to ensure such violations will not happen again?
Thank you very much for asking that question. I know that it will be a subject of discussion between my guests here with members of the civil society and other members of the Kenyan society. The statistics are arguable this way or the other way, but that does not take away from the issues that have been raised around what happened on the dates you have mentioned. There are three things that I can speak to it. Number one is that there is an accountability mechanism to make sure that that situation is attended to and a proper accountability mechanism is put in place. That's number one. Number two is the fact that I undertook to the country that being a democracy, and robustly so, that Kenyans must not, as has happened in the past, where Kenyans disappeared and their bodies were found in all manner of places, that will not happen under my administration. And all the people who disappeared or who were abducted in what you said, all of them have been brought back to their families and to their homes. And I have given clarity and firm instructions that nothing of that kind of nature will happen again. And that it was my commitment as I became president that extrajudicial disappearances of Kenyans will not be part of what we are doing as a nation.
Just directly means that President William Samoei Ruto all along has been aware of these abductions because he accepted liability in broad daylight, that he is aware, he has the report that anyone who was abducted has been reunited with the family. I think there President William Samoei Ruto went wrong. Basically, he wouldn't have answered that question. He would have said, the way he always reaffirms to the Kenyan people, that the police organs are independent. He would have just said that that is a responsibility of the Inspector General of Police, who will give a detailed report on the same. But President William Samoei Ruto going ahead to answer that question, it painted him in bad space. Basically, President William Samoei Ruto has accepted liability that he, in one way or another, was responsible for the abductions. I don't know what advisors to President William Samoei Ruto do unto him, because basically they are doing serious injustice to President William Samoei Ruto. Because such a basic question, President William Samoei Ruto on international media accepting liability on abductions, I don't think it was the right reply for President William Samoei Ruto to give. Straight away, we go onto the Daily Nation, whereby the main headline reads, "The enemy within." The Nation newspaper goes ahead and writes, in a rare public disclosure, the National Intelligence Service Director Noordin Haji yesterday said that the country must be told the brutal truth about the magnitude of national security threats posed by foreign militia. The spy chief said, with the exception of country's border with Tanzania, Kenya is battling incurious by insurgents along the porous borders of Ethiopia, Uganda, South Sudan, and Somali. It is a quite unfortunate state of affairs because, for instance, in Port Victoria, that is in Busia County, it's so unfortunate that Uganda militia can come even into the Kenyan borders, Kenyan territories, arrest someone and take him to Uganda prisons. That is so unfortunate. And I think it is high time that the Kenya militia should also unleash its muscles onto the neighbors, because Kenyan neighbors are taking us for granted. If someone can come into the Kenyan territories and arrest someone, take him in incarceration in Uganda, then after some time we start pleading with them to release our people from their custody. It is high time that President William Samoei Ruto, who is the commander of all the armed forces, come out broadly and protect the Kenyan people. Because Uganda, for instance, I can say this with what I'm well versed with. Uganda military has been abusing Kenyan people for quite some time, and nothing has been done unto them. These people need to be repulsed. They at Lake Victoria in Budalangi, Uganda military always abuse people. They maybe arrest someone in the waters, they tell him to take raw fish. That is the suffering that the Kenyan people are undergoing unto the hands of our neighbors. That is so unfortunate. And it is good that Noordin Haji has brought this to the attention of the Kenyan people. Foreign attacks that have happened onto the Kenyan borders in the recent past. 22nd February, dozens missing since militia from Ethiopia attacked Todonyang in Turkana. In March 27, special operation to flush out bandits from ranches in Laikipia. In March 22nd, 2 chiefs killed in separate banditry attacks within 48 hours in Baragoi, Samburu. In February 23, 2023, joint contingent of KDF and police deployed in Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, Samburu, and Laikipia under Operation Maliza Uhalifu. In February 5th, security forces battled Oromo militia at Ambalo camp in Marsabit. It's one of the 12 camps spread in remote parts of Marsabit and Isiolo. March 15, more than 100 heavily armed Al-Shabaab militia raid Mangai village in Lamu and lecture residents. In May 2nd, 5 police officers shot dead by Al-Shabaab militants in Boni Forest, Lamu. February 18th, 2 suspects, Al-Shabaab operatives arrested over plot to abduct non-locals working at a construction site in Mandera. Then in April 29, 5 quarry workers killed by Al-Shabaab militants in Mandera. February 3rd, 5 chiefs abducted by Al-Shabaab terrorists in Mandera. They were released on April 7th. That is so unfortunate that these people are taking us for granted. And we have a very strong military in the region which is supposed to protect the Kenyan people from invasion by foreigners. It's high time President William Samoei Ruto cracks the whip unto these our naughty neighbors who are causing mayhem to the Kenyan people. I think from that we don't have much onto our newspaper review. For this and many more, subscribe onto our YouTube channel at Lord Aboga TV. Remember to press the notification button so that when we come up with this interesting political and governance content, YouTube will automatically notify you. Till next time, goodbye.